Have you heard about Mortimer T Jones the third? He was the ultimate superhero. Not just your ordinary, plain old, run of the mill, everyday superhero. No, sir. Mortimer T Jones was the greatest superhero the world has ever known. Why, you may ask? I'm so glad you asked, kiddo. Mortimer T Jones III was the world's greatest superhero because he had 107 superpowers. Not just one, like all these other superheroes that just have one superpower. I mean, how boring is that, right? No, sir. Mortimer T Jones III had 107. Would you like to hear some of them? I'd love to share them with you. My personal favorite, his first superpower, was the ability to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches appear out of midair. Poof, he would say. I'd like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to appear in my hands, and it would appear right there in his hands. His friends loved that superpower too because, well, they always had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I mean, wouldn't you love to have a friend who could just make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches appear out of nowhere? Or wouldn't you like to be able to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches appear out of thin air and hand them out to your friends? I know I sure would. That was his first superpower and my favorite. So, his second superpower was the power to make rainbows appear out of nothing. He would just wave his magic wand, and he would swirl rainbows all around his friends. He would surround his friends with rainbows. They'd say, "Hey, Mortimer, we want a rainbow." And he'd say, "Coming right up." And he'd just wave his little magic wand. Little mist would appear, a little sunshine would appear out of nowhere. And he would swirl it around him. So the rainbows would go right around him. And all his friends would walk around dressed in rainbows. It was so cool. I mean, they still had their clothes on. But they were surrounded by rainbows. How cool is that? Now, his third superpower was one that I really love a lot. And he could just make pumpkins grow out of nothing. He could just sit there and he could just go, "Hey, I'd like a pumpkin plant to go right there." And wouldn't you know it, some of the world's biggest pumpkin plants would just grow. And you know why he liked that? Because he liked pumpkin seeds. He really loved to eat pumpkin seeds because they're so good and healthy for you. He would say, "Mom, I just caused these pumpkin plants to grow, and now I want to roast these pumpkin seeds, and so me and my friends can eat them." What a great superpower to, I mean, gee whiz, it doesn't get much better than that. Now, here comes a really good one. This was his fourth superpower, and we're obviously not going to get through all 107, but I'll work on it. I'll make more videos. Now, his fourth superpower was the ability to appear anywhere on Earth at any time he wanted. He could just say, "Ooh, I'd like to go to China." And boing! There he was in China. Or he could say, "I'd like to go to Siberia right now." And boing! He was in Siberia. Or he could say, "I want to be at Disneyland right now." And boing! He was in Disneyland. How cool is that? That is the coolest superpower ever. And the best thing is he could bring anybody with him that he wants. So one time, him and his friends were watching a show about penguins. And penguins, as you know, live in Antarctica. And they all said, "Hey, Mortimer, can you take us all to Antarctica?" And he said, "Absolutely." He said, "Alakazing, Alakazartica. Put us all in the middle of Antarctica." And zap, there they were, right there in the middle of Antarctica. And let me tell you, they only lasted about 4 minutes, and they said, "Mortimer, we want to go home because it's really cold in the middle of Antarctica." So, anyways, now, I'm going to skip right to 107 because we don't have a lot of time, right? These are short videos. So, there's a lot in between, right? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, pumpkins, pumpkin seeds appearing anywhere you want in the world, okay? But I'm going to skip right ahead to 107 because this is how he got all his other superpowers. You know what his best superpower was? And it's not my personal favorite because I like the one about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because I like peanut butter. But this one is really cool because this is where all his other superpowers came from. You know what his best superpower was? His best superpower was the ability to make himself have any superpower that he wanted. Now that is the ultimate superpower, because if you have that superpower, you can just come up with any superpower you want, right? Doesn't get much better than that. I love you, kiddo. Jesus loves you a lot. Talk to you soon.